Hi, everybody. I am Laura Glanville, and I am going to be teaching you this afternoon. We are in my daycare space. I am a owner and daycare provider in my home for city and state license for up to 12 children. So I have busy days, but they're a lot of fun too. And then a lot of my evenings I spend educating women like you and other people about essential oils because it's something that I've become passionate about when I was introduced to them. I have a skin allergy, and so I found out that a lot of the personal care products I couldn't use. So when it comes to baby wipes and lotions and even some diaper creams I was coming into contact with, I was finding out that I would have terrible blistering from it, and so it just wasn't worth it for me. So finding an alternative was important for me. And then once I realized that, oh, the reason I'm reacting to these is because there's so many chemicals in them, then I became more and more passionate about getting the chemicals out of my home and found out about how chemicals can really affect our bodies and affect our reproductive system, and especially in young children, how we just don't want those around them when they are growing and developing so rapidly. So I became very passionate about getting them out of my daycare and out of my home. And so that's kind of where I got started. But I've had a lot of fun along the way. We're going to dive right in to our slides about really incorporating essential oils into your homes and your daycares. Sorry about that. Okay, so on my slides, on the first one, if we can go back, it just kind of goes through, I am Laura Glanville, I'm the blonde in the picture. Kristen Tigas is who introduced me to essential oils, and she's actually on today. She's also a mama from my daycare. Her son has gone here before, and so it's just fun to have her here. She actually just moved to Texas, so it's a fun way for us to get to connect and be on together. But I really want to dive right into giving you guys the power of essential oils in your daycare. First, we're going to start with what is an essential oil. We've got lots of people that maybe don't know about essential oils, or this is the first time they're hearing about them, and so I just want to be sure that we're all kind of starting from the same basic point. Essential oils are all naturally occurring compounds that are the volatile aromatic compound of the plants. So they might be from the stems or the roots or the resin even, or the peel. They're either steam distilled off or cold pressed from it. But those compounds are taken from the plants, and we can use them for our own bodies, whether it be for treatment or for beauty or for healing or for even just killing off the bad things that we can come into contact with. Same things that plants are using them for in a lot of ways. We can turn around and use them in the same ways. But then how do we use those essential oils is really the next thing that we need to get into. The first way to use essential oils is aromatically, and this is the easiest way to use them. The next way is topically, and that's putting them right on. When you apply it topically, the feet are a great spot, the spine, or wherever you're needing direct support. And then the last way is internally. And we're going to go through each one of these today and talk through how I use them in my daycare that way. So aromatically is where we'll start. The great thing about aromatically is, like I said, it's the easiest way to use it because you're just inhaling. You can either put a drop right in the hand and take it in. You can put it in your diffuser, or if you don't have a diffuser, you can even put it in a steam mug on the counter to get rid of smells and odors. You can put it in a spray bottle and spray a room to help to do what you need to. The thing about smell is that it goes right into our olfactory system, right into our smell system, which is directly linked in our brain to our limbic system, or the emotional control center of our brain. And from there, that emotional control center includes our hypothalamus and communicates directly with our pituitary gland, which controls the hormones in our entire body. So when you start thinking about the fact that I'm just smelling this, how does it really impact me? That smell goes into your brain and starts working. It gets to work and it transfers the components of that essential oil throughout your entire body. So then your body starts responding in ways like releasing hormones or releasing digestive enzymes or releasing more white blood cells, or calming the stressors in your body, different things that your body can do in a responsive way just from smelling it. So it's crazy to think that it's just so powerful by just having it diffusing in our room. So from there, we use it. What does that really mean is that it can control behavior. It can help with emotions. If I've got a child who is just struggling that day, really having a hard time focusing, having a hard time managing their behavior, or everything is setting them off. We've all been there, right? Being able to have a solution, have something that can really help calm them is a good thing. As well as for myself, it can help with hunger or cravings. It can help kids get back on cycles for sleep, helping them focus on when it's time to go to sleep, helping them learn the calming, self-soothing type things. It also helps with memory, or myself for energy during nap time if I need to really get things done and power through things. As well as it can help open up airways and support the respiratory system. And like we talked about, really getting into those systems. As well as diffusing has been shown to help to purify the air. So when we think about how often we have people that are sneezing or coughing, and they're little people, so we can't really control them. We can't make them, oh, make sure that you cover your mouth, because it's so hard when they're 2 and they just don't get it and they haven't learned the cover yet. And so having essential oils that I can just kick on to try to diffuse and kill the things in the air is a great way to do it. I diffuse On Guard every single Monday morning, because I just know that the kids have been exposed to things over the weekend. I've been exposed to things over the weekend. And being able to diffuse something so that when the kids walk in the door, not only are they getting something that's going to boost their immune system a little bit and start getting their body to start responding and start knowing that it's going to maybe come into a germy environment, but it also starts to cleanse the air. And so that is just huge for me, as well as I can use it to limit its surface exposure. I don't know what the states are or what the regulations are in every state about cleaning with essential oils. In South Dakota, you have to use chemicals on the changing or bathroom areas and on the food preparation areas. But often what I'll do is I'll use those and then go back over it with my vinegar and essential oil solution to really purify the surface afterwards. And I also use it on cleaning all my toys or like wiping down book pages, because it doesn't leave a sticky residue. It doesn't cause, I'm not worried about the kids putting it in their mouth afterwards or things like that. And so being able to use my essential oils to really purify things that way is a great way to do it. In my daycare then, for the aromatic uses, my favorite things to do are, like I said, On Guard on Monday mornings, almost all the time. Every single Monday morning I have that one going. Breathe is a blend from doTERRA. It is supportive of the respiratory system, and I use that often for opening up the airways, and if I've got kids that are really struggling with their respiratory system and I want to just support them, it's a good way to be able to do that without giving them a drug or doing something that, you know, like I don't have to even, I normally let parents know, but I don't have to. It's just in the air. And it's not a toxin that's like an air freshener that's going to be causing these hormonal responses and things like that in kids. Serenity is another blend from doTERRA, and that one is a restful blend. It really promotes sleep. And then Balance is specifically targeted for mood, and so it's to help people balance out their emotions. So I've used all of those aromatically, as well as I've got some personal favorites that I've developed over time. Stop the Snot is a favorite. It's got lemon, lavender, and melaleuca in it. And that one helps when we've got lots of runny noses, and we just need to help support those little ones. Seasonal Relief is lemon, lavender, and peppermint, and that one helps, you know, during those times of year when change of season is going on and pollen is high, and we just need to help support the body. Sleep Soundly, I use Breathe and Serenity together. And then Fresh and Clean cleanses the air, and that one I use lemon and melaleuca. And then I've also got an immune boost one, a happy energy one, a tantrum tamer one, and a tropical getaway. And I will send these out to everybody who's on today and make sure that they get these recipes. But the tropical getaway, I have to admit, is more so for myself when I'm stressed and I just want to have a mental reprieve, and it's become my new favorite. It's citrus bliss and ylang ylang, and I am probably a little addicted to it. The next way that we use essential oils is topically. When anything is applied to our skin, it starts soaking in within 26 seconds. It's in our bloodstream. So whether we're applying a diaper rash cream or a bug spray or a sunscreen, we really need to start thinking about what is in these that we're putting on us. Because while we just think, oh, it's just our skin, it's not just our skin. And our skin is our largest organ of our body. But it's our protective barrier. That's supposed to be what's keeping things out. But when we're putting something on that's soaking in, it's getting right into our bloodstream, which means it's getting into every single organ and system in our body. So it's affecting our respiratory system, our digestive system, our reproductive system, our mental, our limbic system. Like there's just so many different factors that we need to keep in mind when we are doing these types of things. So that's even like your dish soaps and your fabric softeners. These things often come into contact with little people, or they're sucking on toys that have been cleaned with chemicals. And so it's just really important to be thoughtful about what we have topically. And I think that obviously I learned one step further because I have the skin allergy. But my allergen that I am allergic to is actually something that's very common. It's like in the top 20 most common topical allergies. But people also have respiratory responses to it. And so it's like, even if, say, another person in my daycare isn't allergic to it, one of my babies isn't allergic to it, their body is still having to figure out how to process through that toxin and how to get it out of their system. Even if we're taking a Tylenol or a ibuprofen or even like a Tums, our body has to try to figure out how to work through these synthetic components and how to process it out. The great thing about essential oils is that when you apply them topically, your body is natural, and these are natural. So your body knows what to do with them. It knows how to respond to them, and it knows how to use them effectively. In my daycare, I don't use essential oils a lot topically, just because there is some of that boundary of I don't want to start medicating the kids without parents knowing. And so they know, all of my parents know exactly what I use for topical applications in daycare. And then from there, I take it, if I'm comfortable with it, if the parents are comfortable with it, I'll use it for ailments with their permission. So when you use essential oils topically, the biggest thing to remember is that less is more. With little kids especially, you just don't need a lot. 1 or 2 drops is plenty. Typically, the dilution is about a teaspoon of carrier oil to 1 drop of oil for a child. So if you think about that, that's just a tiny, tiny amount that you need to really be effective. When I use essential oils at nap time, for example, I like to use lavender oil. And I will give each one of the kids, this is a great tradition that we started. I don't know, I'll kind of start over. Every single winter, the kids get hangnails. And they come to me and they say, Laura, my hangnail, my finger hurts. I have an ouchie. And so we just started doing lotion at nap time because it's a way to prevent the hangnails. It's a way to help them calm down. And it was a really loving ritual where I would give them a dab of lotion and they would start rubbing it in their hands as they're laying on their mats. And then once everybody had their dab of lotion, because, I'm going around to 8 different preschoolers right now, I would put a dollop of lotion in my hand and 1 drop of lavender in my hand. I'd rub it in and I would go back through and make sure all the lotion is rubbed in. So they're getting residual lavender off of my lotion onto their hands to help them go to sleep. And the amazing thing is that it helped calm them so much that it went from taking 25 minutes to fall asleep at nap time to 10 minutes. So when I go in, I lay all my kids down, I get them their lotion, and then I sit down and I watch them and I wait for them to fall asleep. Normally I'm like updating their daily reports on my phone or things like that. But being able to shave 15 minutes off of that time is amazing. Like that means that instead of getting a 10-minute lunch break where I get to do dishes, I now get a 25-minute one. And so it's just amazing that that these can be so powerful. The next thing I do is the All Things Skin Spray. I use it for diaper sprays and for any ouchies or even like rough skin. I've got a little guy who struggled with really bumpy, rough skin on his legs. And he got an owie one time, and so we sprayed the All Things Skin on it. And the next day his mom's like, did you put some lotion or something on him? Because his legs are like way better, and I don't know how. I was like, oh, well, we actually sprayed the diaper spray on him. And she laughed, and we laughed. But the diaper spray, the All Things Skin, it has lavender, melaleuca, and frankincense in it. The lavender helps to calm the skin, the melaleuca helps to cleanse it, and the frankincense helps to heal it. And so those things together with some fractionated coconut oil just makes it very, very powerful on the way that it supports the skin. And so whether it be keeping their bums clean and fresh and not hurting, or taking care of an owie after it happens, like it's just a good to have it on hand. We also take a lot of field trips, especially in the summer, or even just this last Friday, I had a smaller crew, so we walked to the park. And while we were at the park, of course, I had to go to the bathroom, and I had to change a diaper. And so it's also nice to have a hand sanitizer or a foaming hand wash that we can have on the go, so we aren't using theirs. Because I can't personally use pellet restroom soaps. So side note, if you ever see somebody not wash their hands in a public restroom, you never know, they could be like me and be allergic, so don't judge. But I use the foaming hand soap that I bring with normally, or a hand sanitizer that I make. And again, I'll share these recipes with you guys, but it's just great to have it that way. So there's another way that I use them topically. And then the natural cleaners, I use it that way, and obviously it gets on topically when you clean sometimes. And then the sensory play, again, like you just need a tiny, tiny bit. So I'll make an entire batch of like goop or homemade Play-Doh or things like that. And I will use like 4 or 5 drops in an entire batch to scent it. We like to do where we make Play-Doh and we divide it into like 3 different batches, and we scent them all differently. And then the kids can play and try to blend the smells together and things like that. And it's just a lot of fun for them. And they're getting that extra sensory play, because how often do you get to play with the sense of smell besides cooking? Like it's just fun for them to be able to have that. And then when I have real ailments, I have lots of my parents in the daycare use oils in their home. And so when I've got a kid that's struggling, I'll have a mom bring a roller bottle of On Guard and let me put it on throughout the day, or have a parent that brings a roller bottle of Breathe and they apply it throughout the day. So those types of things really just help support the kids so that they aren't struggling. I had a little girl this spring who, she just had a runny nose for like 3 months. And so we started diffusing intentionally every day. And that made such a difference for her while she was at daycare, that the parent actually started using oils. So it's just fun to have those types of things. So next is internal usage. The preface I make with internal usage is that I would only use doTERRA internally. There's no other oil I would trust to use internally, just because you really have to know that they're a pure oil before you start putting it in your body that way. doTERRA makes it really, really simple, because on all of their bottles that are able to be taken internally, there are supplement facts. So I don't know if we can switch out to see it, but this right on here, it has the FDA supplemental facts, so that you can see that that oil is able to be taken internally. That was spearmint, by the way. But doTERRA, it's nice that way, that it just makes it so simple. If it's going to be able to be used internally, it's going to have that supplemental fact on it. Research has shown that internal usage is effective at supporting the urinary tract, liver, the kidneys, as well as other ways. Like it just helps to boost the immune system. It's never recommended for children under the age of 6 to take drops internally straight, though. So keep that in mind, that you aren't going to be using these on your daycare kids by saying, come here, buddy, we're going to just give you a drop of this in your mouth right now. Obviously, if I use caution when using them topically with the kids, I'm going to never even go there with the internal usage for the kids when doing it directly like that. They are lipid soluble. So the great thing is that when they get into your body, they are transported throughout your entire body. And they're such tiny, tiny compounds that they can actually cross that blood-brain barrier, which is huge because they can really get in there and affect the organs that way. In the daycare uses, occasionally I'll use them internally when flavoring foods, but it's really occasional. I like to do like cumin in some soups or oregano in a sauce, and it's 1 drop to an entire batch of sauce. So it's really not a lot of oil by the time you break it down. We also like wild orange in our smoothies, or a little on guard in our apples or in our oatmeal. So sometimes we'll do it that way, but personally I use it often internally. So I drink water all day long. I think we all should. And I use a glass water bottle because it's safer for the oils, because a lot of the oils can break down plastics, because plastics are petrochemicals. But I'll use a citrus oil like lemon or lime or grapefruit as a daily just detox for my system. And so I just put a drop of oil in my water directly to do that. I also take the doTERRA supplements. Their Lifelong Vitality Pack is amazing. It's actually their #1 selling product, and I can tell a difference. Like, my energy level is way higher if I take it during the day. And then lastly, if I need major immune support, I pull it out. A few weeks ago, I got a cough, and I was traveling the night before and didn't get enough sleep and was stressed while driving. And so my body just did not respond well at all. So on Wednesday, I had a slight little cough and no big deal. On Thursday, I had like crackling in my lungs. So I started using my oils and broke them out and was able to really support my respiratory system and get over it faster, which was great. And then we get into kind of what the mom's perspective of daycare. These are just a couple of quotes from moms in my daycare that have used that have experienced me using oils and been there. But I also have Kristen here and then Kelly here, who are going to jump in and give you a brief overview about like what their thoughts are and how they think about oils and daycare and their kids going to an oily daycare. Let's start with Kristen. What do you think?
Hey everyone. So when I first met Laura, it was actually because my sister-in-law takes her daughter, my niece, to Laura's daycare. And so Tara, my sister-in-law, asked that I teach a class for her because she wanted to invite some of her friends, and she also wanted to invite Laura, her daycare provider. And she told me it would just be awesome if Laura starts using oils in the daycare because we love using them at home, and it would just be so cool. So I think that in itself just speaks volumes, because my sister-in-law was hoping that Laura would become interested in them because she had saw such valuable results with her daughter Violet. For me, I personally have never taken Elliot to a daycare before Laura's daycare, and the reason was I knew there were regulations in daycares, and I knew from every person that I had talked to that was more similar to me in their views of how they wanted to take care of their children, that daycare just was a really hard situation because you don't have as much control, and oftentimes daycare owners are using chemicals and things like that, and like diaper creams or wipes or things like that I just didn't want Elliot to be exposed to. One of my friends actually had her child in a daycare. It was super strict, brought everything along, and the daycare owner ended up feeding her daughter ice cream once, and she was sick on a regular basis because of some fragrances that she was smelling all the time in the daycare, and it was just causing a lot of drainage for this little girl because she was not doing well with them. So when I found out that Laura was doing what she was doing in her daycare, and she started sharing little bits and pieces with me about how she didn't she minimized toxins as much as possible, and was really going to be proactive with oils when moms wanted that, and that she was so respectful of what I wanted for my child. It really like allowed my guards to come down. And I really think right now, a lot of moms are becoming more empowered, and moms are learning more, and a lot of moms are getting to a point where they're more like me. And so I really think even in the daycare world, there's going to be a lot of shifts that happen in the coming years, because more and more moms are looking for daycares that are really proactive and intentional in the ways that Laura's being right now. And just a side note, we, like she mentioned, are in Texas right now. We're coming back for Christmas. And just an example is, I had talked to her about taking Elliot a little bit when we're back, and there's literally one afternoon that she maybe could take him because she's so full. And there's definitely a reason for that. She's an incredible daycare provider, and moms want what she's providing. So I think if you're looking to just up your competitive game and just really provide something that's valuable for a lot of moms in your daycare and in your community, this is a great thing to start looking into as more and more moms are proactive with their kids' health in this way.
Kelly, do you want to share? We've got in this little picture here that's on the screen. If you look close on the right-hand side, above the striped shirt girl is Kelly's little girl. Gracie is in that picture. This is a few years old, so it's been a while since Grace is now in kindergarten. First grade. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So so there's little Gracie, but Kelly is here to share too.
My children have been going to your daycare. I met Laura through a mutual friend back when you were starting up your daycare, back when you had openings, and was very blessed that I was kind of looking for a daycare with a lot of Christian foundations, and found that with you, that you take this natural, holistic approach of you're invested in my child as the whole person, and not just getting a child in there to fill a need in the daycare, but I want to nurture this human spirit and create a better person while this parent is at work. So I'm very grateful for that daily. So my second child is at daycare. She's 2.5. I had the first initial perspective that essential oils were all psychosomatic, that, you can will yourself into believing anything and having anything work. But little people aren't affected by that. They don't know to be affected by that. So my daughter Gemma, who was struggling with a lot of discomfort with skin, Laura introduced oils into our life, and she wasn't affected by the skin irritations anymore. It was so remarkable to see that and just know that, hey, this stuff really works, and Gemma can't be affected by the supposed hype around oils. So I'm grateful to know that the chemicals are at a minimum, just because of all the stuff coming out there of like how dangerous and how unsafe and how scary they can be. So just kind of applying that at daycare and then helping bring that into my home now has been very successful. So she's able to have a great experience, and so is the rest of my family. So
very fun. Thanks, ladies. I just think it makes a big difference. I know that I hear all the time about daycares having little guys be sick all the time, or kids being sick all winter. And so anything we can do to try to support little bodies and help support their immune system. Nobody wants that helpless feeling. But when you are using them around little people, you have to be very safe. So that kind of gets into the essential oil safety. Keep in mind that these are 100% natural, pure components, and there's very, very little risk with them. But there is some risk, and there are some adverse side effects. But doTERRA is the #1 essential oil company in the world. The highest volume of any essential oil company. And out of all of the oils that they've sold, only 0.006 have ever had a report of adverse side effects. And that includes those that are using them incorrectly or improperly. Like, there's just such a low risk. But there are some reminders on how to be safe and just how to make good choices when you're using essential oils. So you never want to put them directly in the eye or the nose or the ear canal. We want to avoid those orifices. And then using the glass containers like we talked about earlier. Some of the citruses can be photosensitive, so you don't want to apply them to the skin when you're going outside in the sun. In South Dakota, we don't have to worry about that for 9 months of the year, but there's 3 months we do. And then to always dilute it with an oil, that any fat-soluble substance will help to dilute an oil. You don't want to dilute it with water because water and oil don't mix, and so it'll just intensify it. And then follow the directions. So on every single bottle or in the catalogs, they have whether you can apply it neat, meaning it's not at risk of being a sensitivity at all, or it might be sensitive to skin, and so you'll want to dilute it, or a D for dilute, meaning every single time you use that oil, you want to dilute it. So just be cautious of that when you're starting to use oils. As you learn more about them, you'll learn which ones are, like lavender, I would put directly on a bug bite, and I would not think twice about it. It would be no big deal. Or if I burned my finger, it would help to just soothe the skin, and so I would use lavender directly. But other ones like oregano, I would never apply directly. So I just know that one needs to be diluted. It's such a strong and powerful oil that it needs that extra dilution. And then when you are seeking education, always make sure you're going to a trusted resource. There's so much stuff combing the internet on Pinterest or Facebook or anything like that. Make sure that you're using a valuable resource like at the Essential Life book or Modern Essentials. Essential oils in pregnancy, birth, and babies is a good one if you're getting started, especially using it around little ones, or if you yourself are pregnant and wanting to start using oils. And then if you really like the science behind things, Essential Oil Safety by Robert Tisserand is an amazing resource. And then the best resource you can have is your wellness advocate. I think that this is the best reason to buy through doTERRA is because you get someone who is there for you and works with you directly to make sure that you know what you're doing and to support you along the way. That gets kind of into being safe with it. It leads into our regulations. So in South Dakota, there's really not a lot of regulations. I'm both city and state licensed, and I actually reached out to both our city and state representatives to see what the rules were regarding essential oils. And both of them were like, well, the city was like, asked me there. They said, we're actually not even familiar with it. So you just treat it like a hazardous solution. And then the state said that they were familiar with it and that because if you were to drink an oil, the entire bottle, it would not be safe for children to do that. And that some oils aren't meant for internal use. So they recommend that you store it just like you would any other potentially hazardous solutions like a cleaning solution or a chemical. So you have to keep it up out of the reach of children or in a locked cabinet. And so I just keep mine in our cabinet by our bathroom, and it's up out of the reach, and it has a little latch on it so the kids can't open it by themselves anyways. But then I take it a little step further. I made sure I educated my families. So I talked to every person in every family in my daycare and explained to them that I was going to start using essential oils and that these are the things I was going to use it for. And I walked through the topical applications, and I also walked through the diffusions. And I also put an article in our newsletter. We do a quarterly newsletter or every 4 months, so 3 times a year. I put out a newsletter, and I did an article in there about it, and I hosted a class for my mamas. It was really fun to get together on a Saturday morning and let them kind of communicate because the mamas don't have a chance to meet each other a lot. They're in and out for 5 minutes picking up their kids. So their kids are all best friends, and they introduce themselves, and they're like, oh, I'm Violet's mom, or oh, I'm Gemma's mama. And it was just fun to have them all over on a Saturday morning and to get to have Kristen over to come and talk with us about essential oils and safety. And I talked a lot about how I was planning on using them. And so it made my parents feel a lot more at ease. And like I said, a lot of my parents now are using essential oils themselves in their home to help to take care of their families in a natural and holistic way. I also let parents know when I use them topically. So if I've got one with a red bottom, or if I had somebody skin their knee, or the other day I had a little boy who took a Band-Aid. He put a Band-Aid on his face because he wanted a Band-Aid because you know how kids are. And his mom let him. And so he wore this Band-Aid for 2 days for no reason. Well, this Band-Aid was not a pure Band-Aid. And so he took it off, and he had a rash line that you could see that looked exactly like the Band-Aid underneath of it. And so we put some oil on it to try to help soothe the skin, to help it heal better. But Just little things like that I just made sure I let the mom know. I said, you know, he took his Band-Aid off and he had a rash, so we put a little oils on it, just a heads up, and they were fine with it. And then I also will contact parents. So if I know that a child's really struggling, then I will contact the parent and say, you know what, I really think your child could use this. Do you mind if I just try it on them? And every single time the parent has been like, yes, please use that. That'd be amazing. And so it's just good to be able to have that. But I always seek permission when I'm going to be treating a specific child, especially like in most of the time it's because of respiratory issues, or digestive issues. But it's nice to have those natural options for them and to be able to go to it. Well, the next slide gets into why doTERRA oils. We have a short little video. It's 3 minutes long that we're just going to watch real quick about. Goes over why I chose doTERRA essential oils and why I think they're the best. So we'll go ahead and play that. Maybe. Do you have audio?
Are both exciting and promising when it comes to
We've
taking
got
care
audio.
of your own and your family's
You can't hear it?
health. Whether you're applying essential oils topically, enjoying the aromatic benefits through diffusion, or taking essential oils internally, the positive healthful effects of essential oils are boundless. That's why you want to ensure that essential oils you are using are capable of delivering on their promise. You want to make sure that you are choosing essential oils for their potency and their purity. A lot goes into making sure that essential oils are both potent and pure. Potency starts with the plant itself. The same species of plant when grown in different environments will vary in composition. When plants are grown in optimal soil, temperature, and climate, they produce a higher quality essential oil, just as nature intended. But that's only half of the equation. Purity plays a major role as well. Many essential oils available to purchase are not certified pure. Often they contain synthetic fillers or other elements that dilute and alter the purity. This diminishes the healthful qualities of the oil. doTERRA is committed to providing the purest, most potent essential oils possible. We employ a global network of farmers who know intimately the process of growing plants for essential oils. They ensure the plant is taken care of properly and harvested at the proper stage. doTERRA has also perfectly melded modern advances in testing procedures to ensure the purity and efficacy of each essential oil. Every doTERRA essential oil is put through the highest standard of rigorous and thorough testing. This testing protocol, CPTG, Certified Pure Therapeutic Grade, sets the bar for quality, purity, efficacy, and consistency. When an essential oil is deemed worthy to be sold as a doTERRA essential oil, you'll know that it has the highest quantity of active, beneficial constituents and that it is free of contaminants and adulterations. Because at doTERRA, we know the same care and attention, as well as the same commitment to only provide the very best, is not unique to us. They're the same qualities you employ when taking care of those you love the most.
We all want the best for our kids, whether they be our personal kids or our little ones that we take care of in the daycare. And so that's why it's just important. I know that essential oils are available anywhere now. It's important to make sure that they're pure because the FDA isn't regulating essential oils much yet. So in order for a oil to be labeled as a pure therapeutic grade oil, it only needs to be 3% essential oil. So the other 97% can be something else. It can be adulterated. It can be synthetic. There's just so many other things that they could be putting in there. that it makes it scary to use it on little ones, because you just want to make sure that you're using something that's pure and potent, that you're going to get the best results with it. doTERRA, like they said, they use the certified pure therapeutic grade. That means that they take their testing one step further, or in doTERRA's case, 11 steps further. They actually do 11 different tests on it to make sure that it's 100% pure essential oil in that bottle, and that it's the oil from that it's labeled with. And so I just think that's amazing. A lot of the other oil companies out there are doing anywhere from 0 to 5 tests. None of them come even close to doTERRA's 11 tests that they do on it. And I think that doTERRA is just the way that they do that, and they get that purity and quality is just through the indigenous sourcing. It makes such a difference to have the farmers be on your side, to be able to say that we are going in and making a difference in the community and in the farmers' lives, and able to pay them a fair wage so they can give us the best product possible. doTERRA actually, because they are so great to the people that they work with, has 84% exclusivity. That means that 84% of their oils are exclusively sourced to doTERRA. There's been a few countries that have even said, we will not work with any other companies because you treat us so well. They have a Healing Hands Foundation and a co-impact sourcing that just make a difference in the communities that they go into. The co-impact sourcing has actually made over 18,000 jobs for people in these developing countries, because doTERRA, while they source from all over the world, you saw the map, but it sources from over 100 different oils from over 43 different countries. And of those 43 countries, 26 of them are developing countries. So anything we can do to make the world a better place for them too is a great thing. And that's, I think, some of the big ways that sets doTERRA apart. And then the other way that I think that doTERRA, like I kind of mentioned it earlier, but just the education. They really focus in the way that they structure their business on educating, and that it's important for team members to educate one another and to get out there and make sure that people have the knowledge that they need to use their oils. Because what good are essential oils if you have no idea how to use them? You get a box of oils and you're looking at them and you're like, I don't even know what to do with these. And so that's why we provide on our team one-on-one mentoring. We sit down with anybody who buys from us and make sure that they know how to use their oils. They feel empowered to use them. We also have a Facebook group that people can go on to, and we hold regular classes, whether they be online like this where anybody can tune in, or local classes. We really try to strive to make sure that people are educated in the best way possible on our team. Which gets into, how do I get started? The best way to get started is to become a wholesale member, because who lets their friends don't let friends buy retail. So to talk a little bit more about becoming a wholesale customer, Kristen's just going to take over. She wanted to be on today and kind of go over this. So.
Hey everyone. So anybody obviously can buy doTERRA essential oils at the retail cost, but like Laura said, friends don't let friends pay retail, and there's no better way than to enroll with doTERRA. So any purchase that you make, you'll be able to get 25% off of the retail cost on the oils that you're purchasing. So you're getting the best value while still knowing that you're supporting the people that are actually oil a fair wage. When you become a wholesale customer within doTERRA, you can either pay a $35 enrollment fee for a year, or you can purchase an enrollment kit. And I'll go through some of the most popular enrollment kits in a minute here. But a couple of the other benefits besides the 25% off of all your purchases is that you also get the option of joining doTERRA's loyalty rewards program. And this is basically a way to get doTERRA's oils at an even higher discount, because really doTERRA is encouraging all their customers that are really loyal to them and that are loving the oils and have been really empowered to use them in their home. So you can see just a little bit of the benefits on the side. Basically, you will earn a percentage of every order back in free points, and those points convert to free dollars worth of products. You also can qualify for a free product of the month. And you also can get your shipping rewards points back to you as well. So the lowest cost for shipping is $3.99, which I think is pretty incredible. But even that $3.99, each time your order goes through, you'll get 4 points back towards free products in the future. And doTERRA also has additional monthly promotions that they do. So really, there's just a lot of great ways to make oils affordable when you're budgeting in that regular order once a month. That's an optional program, again, so you don't ever have to do the loyalty rewards program. And if you join it, you can always cancel. So we covered the wholesale customer. There's also another way you can enroll. You can become a wellness advocate. These are very similar in a lot of ways. Really the only difference is when you're a wellness advocate, you can do what Laura and I do, which is help educate other people and get paid from doTERRA to educate. And so for everybody on the line that is a daycare owner, this is just a great way to really supplement your income. And I think the important thing that a lot of business owners realize is that if you're sick or if you go on vacation, you just really don't get paid. You have to be in your daycare to get paid. And with doTERRA, that's not the case. You can earn regular paychecks when you're not even working. My husband and I were in Hawaii for a 5-year anniversary and got paid the Thursday that we were there. And it's just an awesome benefit of doTERRA. So whether you want to just supplement your income, you want to be able to get paid back for your oils, or you want to maybe replace your husband's income, or eventually work out of owning a daycare, whatever your goal is, there's lots of ways that you can personalize doing a doTERRA business that fits for you and your goals. So when you're a wellness advocate, basically the only difference is you can qualify for bonuses and compensation. If you choose to enroll as a wholesale customer, after the first 90 days, you can always upgrade your account to become a wellness advocate if you decide to do that. So this slide just goes over some of the different kits that you can start off with. These, again, are some of the most popular kits. You'll see up on the top is the Aroma Touch Diffused, and this comes with some amazing oils that we talked about today, things like lavender and Balance is a great grounding oil, and peppermint and wild orange, so many good ones that you can throw into the diffuser. And it also comes with fractionated coconut oil to be able to make some diluted roller bottles for your daycare. The Family Wellness Pack includes pre-diluted essential oils that are in roller bottles, so strictly for topical use. And then one set of the supplements that are recommended for kids. One's a probiotic and then a multivitamin. And then the Lifelong Vitality Pack, which Laura mentioned is doTERRA's #1 sold product. So that would be for adult use. And then on the bottom left, you'll see the Family Essentials Kit. This is a great, more affordable way of getting started, and this has the top 10 most used essential oils. Many of them, again, we talked about today, and then 2 sets of peppermint, and then, or 1 set of peppermint, and then On Guard beadlets, which are basically a small little breath mint sort of way to use the oils. And then there's another great kit that's very similar to this one. The only difference is the bottles, all the oils are the same, but the bottles are 15 milliliters. So it's about 3 times the amount of oil, and then it includes a diffuser with it. And then the last option you see over here on the right is the Natural Solutions Kit. And this is a great kit. Like, honestly, I've bought every single thing in this kit. I didn't start with this kit, but looking back, I wish I would have, because it's a really great deal. The benefits of the enrollment kits really are, number 1, you're not going to pay the $35 enrollment fee. And then number 2, when you're buying them in these packages, they give you additional discounts. So if you want to look into more of your options, I would just encourage you to Google doTERRA enrollment kits 2016, 2017, and you'll get a flyer with all of these options plus more. So again, if you're interested in becoming a wellness advocate to earn your oils for free, supplement your income, or replace your income or a spouse's income, you can just see here on this chart some of the average earnings for different ranks within doTERRA. I'm a silver with doTERRA, and have just loved really this perk. Our family loves oils, and I was already naturally sharing them with so many people, and they wanted to learn from me. So it was a perfect fit, and now I get to stay at home with my baby and not, ultimately, I just have time flexibility.
And the average income there is per month. And so I think it's great to see that and really know that you can be supporting your family off of this.
Exactly. And so one thing again with this that I was going to, like what we talked about with daycares, really, I think it's you just naturally have a platform as a daycare owner, and lots of moms trust you and your research that you're doing. So if you're somebody like Laura and you're doing a lot of research and you're in a position where you can empower your mamas, it's a great way to just naturally start sharing from that point. Laura specifically, she mentioned she has a lot of different resources that she's used within her daycare. So I know that if you're planning to become a part of her team, she'd be willing to share those with you, because that's the great part. It's something that can be duplicated, and she loves to empower other daycare owners as well. It's one of her biggest passions. So let us know if you're interested in that. And then Laura's just going to go ahead and do a little recap of what we talked about today.
Yeah, so we talked a lot about today, about the different ways to use them. So aromatically, diffusing throughout our daycare, helping to balance moods and to purify the air. Topically, for all things skin, or for using them at nap time to help calm them, or for treating specific ailments that they might be facing or supporting their body that way. And then internally for yourself, those are all great ways to use them, but just remember to store them properly and always dilute them with kids, so that you're making sure that you're being safe around these little ones. Any questions at all? If you have questions, you can always use our chat box on the side. You can message me directly and join us online. Kristen manages a page called Living Drop Collective, and I manage the Drops by Design, both on Facebook and Instagram. So you can reach out to either one of us anytime, and we'd be happy to answer questions about them, about the oils or about daycare life or anything in general. So feel free to reach out.
Thanks for joining, everyone.
Thanks, guys.